the way I think about particularly a small challenger brand is everything we do has to be about culture. And our only sustainable competitive advantage is culture. You can copy our fragrances, you can copy our design, you can copy our copy, but you can't copy our culture is the way we think about it. And this is our lobby in San Francisco. We very rarely have this many guests waiting to see anybody. But we designed it for what we call our Monday huddle, and I was there yesterday for it. We do an all-company meeting every Monday morning, 9 a.m. in San Francisco. We do a remote one bi-weekly for the different regions. And it's not a top-down meeting. In fact, we draw a name out of a hat at the end of it, and whoever's name comes out, you have to steer the huddle the next week. We have like a set agenda, so there's always a start and a finish. But you know when you go to all-company meetings, it's kind of awkward? Well, by doing it every week, it just sets this tone of collaboration, open sharing, laughter, that sets the tone for the entire week, but also the fact that everybody's encouraged to have a voice at Method. And we use it to share business information, but we also use it as a way to keep the values and mission aligned. So if I go to that, like I was yesterday, you can just feel the atmosphere, and it's a great barometer for how the culture is going, our most important touch point. Now with any culture, it's about who you hire, right? So one of the things we started doing years ago, I think it was about 7 years ago, I heard somebody say, I just need a warm body. And that freaked me out. And so we put a bit of a speed bump in our hiring process called the homework assignment. And let's face it, sometimes the best interviewers are the worst employees because they're the best bullshit artists. And you'll see prototyping is a theme at Method, and so this is a way of also prototyping a relationship. So at the end of a normal interview process, and we always interview, you do about 7 to 10 interviews, cross-functional. If we really love you, we ask you to come do the homework. And you're given 3 questions. 2 are very relevant to your role. The last one's always the same. How will you help keep Method weird? And you have 45 minutes to present to those 10 people. And it's amazing. It gives you a sense of their work ethic, how they think. It's not about having the right answer, but it's how they approach their work. But this last question is really important because at most companies, you show up as your professional self. At Method, we want you to show up as your personal self. And if you can come as your authentic self to work, feel comfortable in your own skin, you're going to do your best work and you're going to bring your passion. Now, we want to make sure we like your personal self. Hence this question. But it's also part of your pledge of, like, everybody contributes to the culture. So if you join us, what are you going to bring to the culture? It's not foolproof. So in our onboarding book, on the first page, you get a lotto ticket. Because we do figure some people are just lucky and not good. So if you're lucky, you'll scratch away, win $1 million, off you go. You're good. You probably won't win. You have to stay back with the rest of us and work really hard. Like all companies, we have values. And Keep Method Weird is one of my more favorite values because weird is about being different. Let's face it, weird people change the world. Weird is about accepting diversity, different points of thinking, and really challenging yourself. My other favorite one is this idea of resourcefulness. For anybody trying to grow, regardless of the size of your company, you've got to be more resourceful than what you have available. And who is the ultimate icon of resourcefulness? It's the guy who can take down the F-16 with chewing gum and a paperclip, who also happens to be a Canadian. We actually asked Richard Dean Anderson, RDA, to come speak once at one of our offsites. He's like, what would I talk about? The MacGyver, of course. And one of the things we learned is the more serious we want people to take it internally, actually the less serious we should take it ourselves. So if we told everybody, like, be resourceful, I guarantee nobody would ever play it back. But the fact that we talk about, like, finding your inner MacGyver, you hear the words MacGyver inside Method multiple times a day. And it just allows it to be a little bit more of this forced idea and something that's more natural to the culture. We're in the process of great scaling right now in Method. We're almost up to 300 employees. We're expanding globally. And the big challenge with any of that is retaining the culture. And so one of the things we've been talking about is the bigger we get, the smaller we actually need to act. And one example of this is a couple years ago, we got rid of our receptionist in San Francisco. And now everybody's a receptionist. We're actually terrible at it. So if you call, chances are we'll accidentally hang up on you. We may forget to serve you coffee when you arrive. But it's this idea of, like, keeping the ego out of the place. So every day at Method, 2 people are on reception. Everybody does it, myself, the CEO, and every job description has in it somewhere, receptionist. And you can do whatever you want that day. Like there was a Jersey Shore day where everybody had to do a shot when they came in. The poor FedEx guy is always so confused. But it's just one of those small gestures that allows us to scale and remain what's special about the place and just keeping it very humble. Because after all, like, we just make soap. And one of our big, probably, cultural challenges right now is we are turning into a manufacturing company. Like all startups, we've always outsourced, but we're actually building our first plant right now that's going up in Pullman Park, Chicago. And we're super proud of this. We wanted to build a plant that completely, we didn't think of this as a way for cost savings. We thought of this as a way to express our values and our mission more deeply. So, like, unlike a lot of companies that will rip up some cornfields and put in a plant, we're building this, we wanted to build it in an inner city. We wanted to build it where jobs are needed. So we chose South Chicago. It will be the first plant built there in 30 years. It's a rough neighborhood, and we're going to be part of turning around that neighborhood. So we'll provide upper mobility. We're going to hire from the local community. And the other thing we're proud of is it'll be the most sustainable manufacturing facility ever created, using solar, wind, zero waste. And that part of Chicago is also considered a food desert because you can't get fresh produce within 8 miles. So we partnered with Gotham Greens. We're building greenhouses on the roof to grow local produce. We haven't been able to really get the full Willy Wonka effect yet. The Lavender River is not quite working. But it will be also hopefully the weirdest plant ever created.